Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are with one of our Wednesday videos, which as you know tend to be on the lighter side of things, depending upon what you ask of course. And we try to do stuff with a bit more levity to it and generally some more personal things about Charlotte. So let's get cracking. Sharon has asked us to discuss how Charlotte and I grew up together. This is a really nice message. Thank you, Sharon. She says that she sees Charlotte in both of us, so thank you very much. Really, we did get on well, very well in fact, and we fought, play fought and real fought like most siblings do, but we had a very conducive relationship to one another. I think we both could lean on one another in times of difficulty, be they emotional or physical difficulties, as was the case with Charlotte during the latter stages of her life, and indeed after her numerous quite evasive surgeries. She would often need a hand getting around the house or a hand walking around town. Growing up together, we were pretty thick as thieves, I think.
Oh, indeed you were.
We were little toe rags.
Yeah, one story I will relay is when they were very tiny, probably like 3 and 5 bath time, which you always know is going to be awful. And I had something to do, so I left them in the bath together, and I could hear all this squealing and laughing and giggling and whatever else, and I walked in, and they'd done the trick with getting the toilet paper soaking wet, throwing it on the ceiling. The whole place was like a swimming pool. I've never seen anything like it. They couldn't quite understand why I was so angry with them.
I still don't understand.
You still don't understand.
It was a nice piece of interior decoration.
It was an amazing piece of interior decoration. So when they worked together, they were as thick as thieves together.
Yeah,
you could fight well as well.
We've also got the TV example where we put magnets all over the CRT TV. I think we discussed that in one of our last videos.
Yeah.
But no, I mean we both had a sense of humour that could bounce off each other's. It was both pretty crappy, to be honest.
And WWE.
WWE, like most small children, we didn't know it was fake then, you see. We'd have like wrestling matches in the garden and stuff like that on the trampoline. So yeah, I mean we grew up very happily and, you know, best friends really, and we were till the end, so
teenagers. You were
teenagers as well.
And school days, you tend to. Charlotte would talk to you quite.
I mean, before Charlotte got really ill and yourself and Dad were at work, you know, we'd talk for a few hours before you got back and maybe had a very slow burning glass of wine. But no, it's an interesting question, Sharon, and hopefully I've answered it as best as possible. We're very good friends and sorely missed friendship.
Yeah. And what we'd like to do, I just want to read these out. As I said before, what we're going to do is we'll carry on with the anxiety, and then in between that and the cancer, because I've had some really nice requests here. So Katie has asked us to do one on the stages of grief, which we're happy to do. Yvette has asked for feedback on healthcare professionals, namely nurses, because she is one. That I would like to do. Could I also say at this point, Charlotte used to say, I don't sugarcoat anything, neither will we. As we move on to the cancer, some of it is, it's not nice. Cancer isn't nice, so we're not going to sugarcoat anything. And Serena has asked us to do something, how we first reacted when Charlotte was diagnosed and how we coped. Beth has asked, how did Charlotte cope with her anxiety? So we'll talk about that as well. And then Jennifer has asked, which is a really good question, she said, could we do a video describing how hard it is for the caregiver, because she said that she also has somebody in the same situation and nobody ever talks about the struggles of the caregiver. It's a brilliant question, and indeed we will be doing that, and we'll try to dedicate probably one Sunday video to covering some of these questions that you've asked us.
Yeah, I think the caregiving one's especially important because the diagnosis that Charlotte got was glioblastoma multiforme. As some of you may have read in the paper after Charlotte died or on the online editions of the papers, she didn't nickname it the Terminator. That was a complete falsity. Actually, that is what the cancer is known as within oncology terms. That's the severity of it. So I think it's very important that we cover all those questions well, especially those dealing directly with the cancer, because it's impossible to imagine just how destructive Charlotte's particular diagnosis is, and just how important it is that people are prepared for that, because we certainly weren't.
We weren't, and in fact I have recently read, I have been doing quite a lot of research now that Charlotte's gone. I didn't look anything up before she died. I didn't want to know, and we weren't told, but that's another story. I haven't Googled it now, and basically glioblastoma multiforme, death sentence. That is it in a nutshell. As I said, we're not going to sugarcoat anything on this. It's a serious.
I think there's a documentary for which we may put the link in the description. Yeah. I think there's only one known survivor.
I think
three known survivors, but the difference with these people is that they were early enough into their diagnosis that they were able to transport themselves to Mexico to get the requisite cocktail of drugs that eventually and quite amazingly saved them, whereas in this country, and indeed in most countries, there's so much red tape around the circulation of prescribed and trialed medicinal drugs that simply wouldn't. It's not possible in the latter stages of any kind of diagnosis, because you simply can't move yourself around enough to actually get those kind of drugs. But back to Sharon's question, maybe, just to finish off, just because it's a bit more cheery. I'm just trying to think of things that Charlotte and I did. I mean, we did a lot of things. Just before Charlotte got her very bad diagnosis, or it may have been just after, it was just after my 21st birthday, Charlotte and I walked all the way up to a place in Brighton which is Devil's Dyke. It's a National Trust site. It's quite famous in the UK, and we walked up there and we did this quite long walk up to a small kind of hamlet from which you can see to from the east end of Brighton to about Lancing, if anyone's familiar with that kind of geography. And I said to Charlotte, gullible as she was, I said, do you know the largest shark ever was from there, which is Lancing, to there, which is, I don't know, Seaford or somewhere about 10, 12 miles away, 15 miles away. And you know what she said? She went, really? I said, no. Of course it wasn't. But no, we had a really nice long walk. I brought some soup in a thermo flask, which for once didn't break, and I wasn't swallowing broken glass. And no, we just walked around and were harassed by various wildlife, cows mainly.
And also I must just say, because I just thought when Charlotte was very small, she could be demanding sometimes, and I said, I said to her once sarcastically, would you like me to peel you a grape? And she just turned around and she said, not now, I'm not hungry, I don't really want a grape at the moment.
Yeah, but on this walk she was actually pretty amazing. She did it all complaint free. It was quite a long slog. It's about 4 or 5 miles with a lot of uphill, and I guess
we did it recently.
Yeah, it took about an hour and a half, 2 hours. But I guess that was one of the last times that Charlotte was able to do this kind of things unimpeded. So quite a poignant one, I think, to leave it on. We did have great times together, which I wouldn't replace with anything. And that's a hollow point that is always going to be there. There's always going to be a shell in me and indeed next to me. So thank you for asking. It's a interesting question.
I think you find it, you said to me the other day, you're now an only child, which you find...
It's weird. Yeah, it's strange. Something I haven't really quite adjusted to. But I think we've all got our own individual ways of coping with things. I think I've got a very close network of friends and people at university who I'm very good friends with, and people back in Brighton, so I think that's a massive help in my own bereavement, just to have people that I consider as close as family to kind of share that burden with if and when it's necessary. So yeah.
Just getting there.
Yeah, getting there.
Take a long time, but anyway. Well, we look forward to seeing you on Sunday, where we'll be doing Anxiety in Year 9. And if you've got any suggestions, anybody, for a fun video for the following Wednesday would be great.
Yeah,
that would be lovely.
We also noticed that subscribers are going up, so fantastic.
Thank you so much for that.
Comments are always great and appreciated. After the anxiety, as you said, if this is the first time you've tuned in, we're doing a series on anxiety on Sundays. Wednesdays is the slightly more viewer-orientated bit, as we've done today, and after that we'll be getting into the more cancer detailed videos.
Yeah, and also so any questions relating to the cancer is always useful, and we'll try and cover that as well, definitely.
Okay, well, thank you for watching, guys, and have a nice Wednesday afternoon, and we'll see you on Sunday.
Thank you.